You know who's also going to be something else? I was laughing during the break, and Jim Heuer was like, what are you laughing at? I said, Jordan Walker. And he said, did he hit another home run? No, he didn't. I don't have any I don't know if they're playing today or not in the Arizona Fall League, his team. But the other day, the same day, and I didn't know this at the time, the same day he hit a 434-foot home run, the Cardinals' top prospect. Later on, top of the sixth inning, he came charging in from right field. And he picked up a base hit, and he basically turned into a rocket launcher, threw a strike that was clocked by StatCast at 99.5 miles per hour.
Oh, my goodness.
That throw was harder than any throw made by a Cardinals. We're talking Major League Cardinals outfielder since StatCast began to keep track of it in 2015. He topped Harrison Bader, who previously had the hardest or the highest velocity throw. And Dylan Carlson had a big-time throw this year, too, 98.2 miles an hour. But only 17 major leaguers, all outfielders, recorded a harder throw from the outfield in 2022 than Walker's. He's 20 years old, and it's just ridiculous. He hit into a double play the other day, and even the double play that he hit the other day, he hit it 113 miles an hour.
Oh.
So, I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He's got to be here next year. There's just, unless somebody comes up with something that tells me he can't hit a breaking ball all of a sudden, he's got to be here.
He hits right-handers without a problem. He's incredibly mature and advanced with his aptitude playing the game, especially hitting. He draws walks. He's selective enough. He doesn't go up there swinging at everything. He's one of these guys that absolutely has an idea at age 20 years old in Double-A, which has a lot of great offense and a lot of really good pitchers. It used to be the best pitchers were at Triple-A, and you can still find them, obviously. But teams like to get their guys to Double-A, their best pitching prospects. They want them to spend a lot of time there. That has become a great Double-A is a great league for the very best prospects. If you want to see some of the most exciting talent, it's in the Double-A. So he's competed consistently this year, against pitchers that are older than him, more experienced than him. He's doing it in the Arizona Fall League. He hit that huge home run the other day off of the Pirates' top prospect who's legit. Is probably going to be a really, really outstanding major league pitcher. So I'm with you, and this is a good way to segue into what I wanted to talk about. When you talk about, okay, look, the Cardinals' offense for the year, and I'm talking regular season, was very good. And I could go over the numbers, but I don't see why I have to bore you with that or why you just wouldn't take my word for it. But again, regular season. Regular season, which is different than post-season. Just wanted to make sure we understood each other. So, that said, how do they get better offensively? Because they can be more consistent. I am someone who, really looked at their offense and thought, all in all, really good job, except too inconsistent in terms of being shut out and scoring one runs. They had too many of those games, especially the shutout for my taste. So obviously they need more consistency, even though their base offense was really, really good in the regular season this year. Now Pujols, who led the National League and the Cardinals from the All-Star break on, and we led the Cardinals in home runs, RBI, slugging, OPS in the second half of the season. He overtook Goldie, Arenado, anybody you want to mention. So obviously that leaves a void. He also, for the year, he also was their designated hitter like 36 90% of the time, but Marmol spread that job around, which is nothing wrong with that. It was a good way to get some of the guys like Arenado and Goldie off their feet as fielders for a while. So if you talk about, all right, well, where's the offense going to come from if they stay within? Well, Jordan Walker could be at the top of the list. It's a lot to jump a guy from Double-A to the majors, but I told this story before. John Mozeliak was prepared to do it with Oscar Taveras in one of those postseasons. I believe it was 2012, might have even been 2013, where they thought they were going to lose a player. And forgive me, my memory does not recall who that player was, but I was sworn to secrecy, and Mozeliak told me, well, you know what I think I might do? We've got Oscar Taveras ready. So they were going to bring him up from Double-A and put him smack dab in the middle of the postseason. It had already started. So I just can't remember who that hitter was that went down or whatever. But anyway, so if you were going to do it then, and I think, with all due respect to the late Oscar Taveras, we never got a chance to see what he really, really could do. Walker's a better hitter than him, and Walker's a more highly regarded hitter than him. And there really aren't any holes in his swing at Double-A. So if you're willing to do that then, and you see the success that the Atlanta Braves have had bringing up their Double-A guys, why would you hesitate? Why would you all of a sudden get all reluctant and all squeamish about doing it with this kid? And, if the answer is, well, he's only 20. Well, he'll be 21 next year early in the season. I recall there was a 21-year-old prospect who they put on the team out of spring training after another player got injured, and his career seemed to work out okay. Pool Holmes. So this kid, Jordan Walker, is the best hitting prospect they've had since Albert Pujols. I hope they don't waste this kid's time if he does not have to spend money. He does not have to spend time at AAA. If that would be just like a needless experience. I hope they don't. I hope they don't waste his time because they're playing contract games, service time games, money games. I hope they don't. But we'll see. But if you want to start at a place, it's right there. And anybody who can play corner outfield and throw the rock basically a tick under 100 miles an hour, I think he could handle that just fine.
He's got to play, especially knowing that they're going to, I know we're going to talk about, they're going to need a way to find offense next year. And if he brings offense, he should play. He should be here and do what he's going to do in his major league career, and that is do damage with his bat. And by the way, it looks like he can play a little defense as well. I did a quick search. They played today, but he wasn't out in the lineup, by the way. So
he runs well for a big man too.
Yeah.
Very mature guy, smart guy. And you know what? Here's another reason why I would say that. You know how we talk about, look, the Cardinals' offense is based on power. To repeat it, Ali Marmol. So you can hate him. I'm just passing along what he says their philosophy and what their approach is, and he's adamant about it. And, by the way, there's pretty much like 28 other teams that try to do the same thing. Draw walks, get on base, at a high level, doubles, home runs. That's it. Now, it works if you can do it. It works if you have enough dudes, as we say, that can do that for you. The gap in their approach, if there is one in this regard, is that they didn't walk enough, and their on-base percentage could have been higher. Because one of the parts about then when the power ball kicks in, you want to have people on base, to say the least. You want to put pressure on the pitchers. The thing about Jordan Walker, okay, he hit 19 home runs in Double-A this year. That's not like an epic total. But everyone said that his power would develop, really develop and flourish over time. Because they threw him into the deep end even in 2021. He was competing against guys way older than him and had more experience. And then that was the case again this year. But his power started to come on. And everyone in the know said His power will come on. Do not worry about that. And when it comes on, watch out. And it did. It came online because his power numbers were really, really good after he took him a while to get started. But even here's the payoff. And this will please the people that don't like home runs and think that they should play whitey ball or whatever, or maybe go back to wee Willie Keeler ball. Hit the Baltimore chop. Whatever it is they want him to do. Play a little small ball. Let's win this team. We're going to win this game by dropping 18 sacrifice bunts down. That kind of thing. Before Walker started hitting home runs more regularly at Double-A, you know what he was doing? He was drawing walks. He was getting hits. He was batting well over 300. His on-base percentage up around 400. He's hitting doubles, stealing a few bags. The point is, he was not an all-or-nothing hitter. In other words, home runs or bust. He not like that at all. He is a terrific all-around hitter. So that's one reason why, if he's on schedule, he could make a terrific difference because he's not just a swinger. He's a hitter. And that, to me, is a very big deal. Because we talk about it would be nice if they could diversify their offense. The small ball thing ain't happening. Do the little things, it ain't happening. We got to get that bunt, not happening. So what they will do is steal bases, though, because they're smart about when they choose to do it. And, yeah, they could use guys who know when it's time to hit a sacrifice fly. That's not small ball. That's smart baseball. And I don't know why people can't distinguish the difference. Guy on third, one out. Well, yeah, let me just get this ball in the air, man, get this guy home. Yeah, that's called basic baseball. So it doesn't fit like, we're going to play like them teams did back in the 1918. No. It's not. It doesn't exist, won't happen. Jordan Walker is a guy that can diversify your offense because he's not solely reliant or based. His game is not just home runs, swing for the fences only, right?
Yeah.
Just not there. All-around hitter. Now, would it take him time in the major leagues to adjust? Well, of course it would. You got to be reasonable. If they bring him up or put him on the team right away, or they bring him up, I don't know what the service time manipulation will be next year. I'll have to go read that up after the CBA. But whenever it is, whenever their service manipulation time is through, and they actually bring him up, I don't know if he's going to come up here and start hitting 400 for a month. Well, he'll get there, though, because anybody this good and this smart and this polished and advanced in his hitting, it's only a matter of time. With all due respect to Nolan Gorman, and I'm a huge fan of Nolan Gorman, Walker's not a Nolan Gorman. Nolan Gorman's going to get better and better and better, but he's always going to be a swing and miss guy, and the strikeout rate's always going to be a little too high at best. So, but it's a great trade-off if the dude's hitting 30-plus home runs once he starts to get to that level. But Walker just doesn't seem to be that – well, he's not that kind of guy. He's just a better, dependable all-around hitter. So, all right. Let's go down the list. Who else could step it up? Who else that they have? Tyler O'Neill. Didn't say. By the way, you didn't hear me say he would step it up. I said who could step it up.
Yes.
Unless he's traded, he's capable of, kind of putting some pop back in their power in 2023. He's got a career slugging percentage of .468. Hit 34 home runs in 2021, plus he slugged .550, which is great. But he's hurt all the time. This guy pours a bowl of cereal, and it's like he's got flaring neck pain, This guy bends down to, tie his shoes. Oh, let's get him an MRI, So he's not reliable. And his slugging percentage dropped to .368 this season. But you know what? Derek Gould said it. I said it. The Cardinals live in fear of this. They'll trade him. He'll hit 50 somewhere next year.
Yeah.
That's what happens with the Cardinals. they have no conviction in terms of how to judge, outfielders. They trade the wrong guys away, and they stick with people who break their hearts, and it's just they can't seem to get it right. So I'm just offering names of people who, if when Jupiter aligns with Mars and all that stuff, have the talent to absolutely ramp up the offense. And Bro did that in 2021, so it's not like it's never happened. Nolan Gorman, he's a futures bet if you ask me. Tremendous raw power. 14 home runs in only 283 bats as a rookie this season. That's a home run every 20 at-bats. Now think about that. Think about all the swing and miss. He still managed to hit a home run every 20 at-bats. That's really, really good. Only Pujols, Goldschmidt, and Arenado did better than that in terms of what you call the home run ratio. He's only 22. He's still developing. He should be more consistent in 23. He'll also figure prominently in the DH spot. So you got to like his chances of putting up more home runs and doubles next year. So the point it's not like you're going to snap in one guy who's going to replace Albert Pujols' offense. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about collectively people doing better than they did this year, or who did well this year but still can raise it up some. I'm talking about a collective improvement with players they already have. I think, let's get to Lars Nootbaar. I think too many people underestimate just how much power he packs. That left-handed swing's got plenty of power. He was, this past season, he's top 10% of major league hitters in average exit velocity, top 20% in barrel percentage and hard hit rate. And once he began seeing regular playing time, and that was around mid-July, I want to remind everyone that even with one kind of ugly slump in there for a couple weeks, since mid-July, once he got the playing time, he slugged .514, and he hit a home run every 17 and a half at-bats, and that's about 250 plate appearances. And that time frame, and here's the beautiful thing, he's a left-handed swinger. He had a .533 slugging percentage against left-handed pitching, a lot of doubles, from around mid-July to the end of the regular season. So I would say watch out for him in 23. I think he's the real deal, and I know he only has about 470 plate appearances in the big leagues, so he's got to prove himself over a period of time. But this guy's smart. He knows how to hit. He has an approach. He's got a great swing. He can hit lefties as well as righties. And there are few players in baseball that hit the damn thing harder than he does. And that is absolutely a key to success. Since the start of 2021, and this takes in his rookie year where early on he didn't do anything, and this also takes in the first part of this year where he didn't do much because I think he was kind of stressing out because he didn't make the team. Since the start of 2021, among the Cardinals have at least 400 plate appearances over that time, only Goldschmidt, Arenado, and O'Neill had a higher slugging percentage. And again, that's also with his rookie and young player inexperience baked in. I think that's pretty damn impressive myself. Next guy on the list, Juan Yepez, led all Cardinal rookies in slugging. He whacked 12 homers and 253 at-bats. That's one every 21. So you got Gorman, you got Yepez. Basically, as they're learning on the job and going through the trials and tribulations, both of those guys basically hit one out of the yard every 20 at-bats. And I think that's impressive. And Yepez, we saw his poise and his fearlessness when he came up and pinch hit and hit a 2-run bomb first pitch off of Philly's best reliever, Alvarado, in Game 1. He had a better at-bat, more poise, more confidence, more mental toughness than their veteran hitters did in that series. I mean, the kid, just nothing bothers that kid. He is really something else. Now, he gets into bad habits. He'll just kind of lunge at pitches. He gets overly aggressive sometime. But I think with the experience he had this year, he will step it up and he will elevate their airstrike game. I really believe that. And how appropriate would that be if this guy really does a lot in a way that helps this team compensate for Albert Pujols, his mentor? That would be pretty good stuff right there. Couple more. We mentioned Walker. Then you got the enigma that is Dylan Carlson. Look, I don't think he's ever going to be a 30-home run guy, but he can be a big-time doubles guy, and he can also draw walks. And even last year when he was lousy, he was drawing walks. And then then later in the season, he was starting to hit more doubles. And so I don't want to view him as a 25-homer guy. I want to view him as the kind of guy we saw second half last season. A lot of doubles, drawing walks, slugging 500 plus. The talent to do that is still there. But I think the fact that all of a sudden he no longer, it's like he looked at a right-handed pitcher and said, well, what is this? I hadn't seen this before. And I'm being sarcastic, but you get my point. He joined the Head Case Club this past season, and I think he's a good kid. And he's raised by a baseball coach. I think he'll get out of it. But to say he was very disappointing this past season is an understatement because he could not hit right-handed pitching. I think it was 207. And he had, Jim, to your point, because you brought this up a lot during the season, he had 432 at-bats this past season. He's 8 home runs. That's a home run every 54 at-bats. So you know what the good news is in this equation? I think he's going to bounce back. To what extent, I don't know. But him being that bad, you know that he's going to improve, and you can count, I believe you can count on more from him next season, and that's what this exercise is all about. All right, who can improve within? And again, the only question with Carlson is how much improvement, but he will get better, and he'll start to get back in the right direction, and I am confident of that. The catcher to be named later. Unless they're going to be cheap and they're going to be cowardly. I don't know about giving all this money to, let's go get Omar Narvaez or whatever. We'll platoon him and Kisner. We're all set. They're going to do something like that instead of going big. Because if you want a catcher, his last 3 full seasons, has averaged nearly 23 home runs, slugged 480, 485. That's your guy. He's played for the Cubs. And he's expressed interest through back channels that he'd like to come here. That's why I called his buddy Jose Quintana to ask him a lot of questions about the Cardinals in St. Louis. So he's good to go. I don't know if these guys will be too cheap and too scared to make the play. And I don't know. I don't even know what the fans think about it because he's a Cub, and that's almost like saying, well, that's he says that makes him Stan Kroenke, So no, he's a hell of a player. You know what he is too? He's a badass. Cardinals got the nice guys club, don't they? Oh man, they got so many guys, and there's nothing wrong with this, but almost that whole team. I mean, it just the kind of nice young boys you take home to mama for Sunday dinner. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got to have a couple of badasses on the team. They're too nice. They really are.
You need a little attitude. I agree with that.
They lost their competitive edge this year, and they never got it back, and they were scared in the postseason. Give me, pardon the language for those who are bothered by it, give me a badass. They really need one. And he doesn't take guff off of anybody. And the irony, because I've had some people get in touch with me, so I don't kind of like his attitude, Well, what don't you like about his attitude? Well, he's always like trying to be, Mr. Tough Guy and all. And I said, yeah, the Cardinals once had a catcher like that. It was Molina, I think it was his name. I mean, do these people even know what they're saying?
Right.
They worship Yadier Molina, but the same qualities that Contreras has, some of those Molina qualities, like, well, I don't know about this guy. He's kind of like got a chip on his shoulder. Yeah, that's exactly the point. So you want to upgrade your more offense and get your power? up to a higher level. Here's a guy who plays shortstop, just announced he's going to opt out. I guess Minnesota a little too calm for him. Carlos Correa, who's young and still just tremendously gifted hitter with power.
Yes.
Are the Cardinals going to do that? I don't know what the Cardinals are going to do, but when is the last time they went all in? I mean all in the free agent market to get someone who can be considered like top of the class or in the top 5 or so. They haven't done that for a long time. And the answer is not Dexter Fowler because, look, they wasted money, but we're talking $80 million. We're not talking $200, $250 million.
Agreed, yeah.
So anyway, that took some time, but on a kind of a slow day, I thought it was a good time to take some time and explore this. And so I hope that you listen to this didn't mind it because we had to go through some names and I had to give you some context and I had to tell you the good and the bad. And they do have some talent that I do believe will kick in next season and do a better job.
I tell you what, as you were going through the numbers and going through that list, you look at just Gorman, Nootbaar, Yepez, and a Carlson there, but just those 3 guys alone.
Walker, and then the potential of Walker.
Yeah. The 3 guys I just mentioned there, you look at they're almost identical, and not quite, but they're very, very similar in terms of home run rate, doubles rate, and that's key when you're looking for more offense. I mean, I was shocked when you and part of it is my fault. When you just throw out the Nootbaar numbers, I go, wow. You look at Nootbaar and you compare him with Yepez and Gorman, I go, wow, he's right there with them.
Nootbaar's really good.
He's
really good. You talk about another guy who had guts in the postseason. It's so funny that Nootbaar technically is not a rookie, okay? But for experience level, he kind of was. But, isn't it amazing the 3 guys who managed to take at bats without having let's just say a bathroom accident, right?
Yeah.
Were Nootbaar and Yepez and Gorman, right?
Yep.
Those 3 did more than the MVP candidates, and it's like, listen, it's small sample to the hilt. It's like ridiculous that I would draw some deeper meaning from that. At least I admit it. But if you think about that, Nootbaar was fearless in that series. Gorman was fearless in that series. And Yepez, are you kidding me?
First pitch he sees? I got this.
Against a guy who had not given up a run since like August the 3rd? Right?
Yeah.
Or 1 run since August the 3rd.
Yeah, 1, but still.
He went up there and said, you know what? It was almost like the Bryce Harper at bat. He went up for the home run. He went up there. Yepez did and said, well, I know what he throws. And if he throws me this, I'm looking for it. And if he throws me this on the first pitch, I'm going for it. I'm hitting it. Where was that approach with some of the guys who were the MVP candidates and all that?
Yeah, that's very puzzling. And then I'll add one more thought on Carlson. And yeah, I was disappointed probably more with him than any team, but just reevaluating here. As a season, by the way, he's also a year younger than Nootbaar and Yepez still, which It's like, don't give up on this kid yet. And I'm not. I know you're not. He still had 30 doubles in a year that was a down year.
Yeah, see? Hey, I'm really good with a guy. Like, I won't – if he comes back stronger next season, I really believe he will. I think he's too smart for this. He'll have a good offseason with his father and others as well, and his father's a great coach. But I don't need him to hit 20, 25 home runs if it means that he's going to put himself in a bad position where he's striking out too much and not getting on base enough. Mm-hmm. Give me the doubles. I'll take 12, 15 home runs and a bunch of doubles and a lot of walks. I'd be very happy with that from him.
I am too. I also, he'll get the year to reevaluate. I just want to know what was the real deal with the hand injury. I think we might find out that had a lot to do with what took place this year.
It could. It absolutely could. And you never know because the Cardinals, with them, it's impossible for them to tell the truth about injuries. So who knows, right? Unless somebody wants to speak the truth, the unfiltered truth. Who knows?
It was a month to get an MRI. It's like, come on, really? Well, it was bothering him. Well, maybe we'll get an MRI now.
Yeah, he can't hit.
Yeah.
I wonder why he can't hit. I don't know. It's just, he said his thumb was bothering him. Maybe. Well, let's get him in here and talk to him about that. Is your thumb bothering you? Yeah, it kind of is. I don't like to complain, but it's making it tough. Well, here, let me wrap some tape on it. Good luck tonight.
Make sure
we get you taped up.
Catch the ball if you can. We traded our center fielder. Just get out there and make sure you're catching it.
I put a little sponge there, a little cushion, and then let's get you taped up. Go out there and get yourself a hit.
Oh.
And then it doesn't work, and it's just like, well, maybe we ought to. I don't know. Maybe get some tests on that thing. What do you think? Well, yeah. Well, it's been about a month. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to panic or nothing, but yeah, I think maybe time to get a look at that. What, are you going to set that up? No, I got to get on TV in the dugout.
Got to get my spot.
I don't have time for that stuff.
I got the one spot there. They get me every time. I got to get.
If I leave that prime TV spot in the dugout because I'm setting up an appointment to go get that youngin an MRI. I could listen after. Give me to the end of the inning, then I'll do that. I'm being facetious.
I know, but it's fun.
They're not that bad. It's just a way for us to vent a little bit, right?
Yes. No, I get it. And
they're actually all those guys are great guys. They really are. But it's like I just don't want to see them on the TV all the time.
Oh, I'm there. And
you're not a player.
I'll add one more thought to the Carlson thing. When he came back, I think it was the first or second night he came back, he slid into home plate. I was telling you, he slid in with that hand that was the thumb that was bothering him already. And I think he just kind of had it clipped on either a shin or a glove or a foot there on the slide home. And I think he just re-injured the whole thing over again.
He probably did. Yeah.
They just said, well, you just got to play through it.
Maybe we're trying to talk ourselves into it. I don't think so. Because I think the guy's really talented. But, he could be as tough as it was watching him this year, and frustrating as it was.
Yeah.
He could be a really nice surprise next season.
He could. Agreed.
And that's why I think I think they're positioned to have a better offense even with Pujols going, Now, if Goldie's all of a sudden going off the cliff because of age, well, then I would have to adjust my opinion on that because there are developments we never expect, good and bad. And so, yeah, you have to say, well, no, maybe the offense won't be as good as I thought. That's just reacting to changing circumstances. And so some of these guys could go all the other way, and that's why I try to present it that way, tell you what their potential is, but also what, their problem is. But they're going to have to use the catcher position to improve the offense and to maintain the defense instead of going cheap and, doing the half-measure stuff. Well, let's get Narvaez in here. And, well, he gets hurt all the time. Well, our trainers will take care of him.
Yeah, you can't.
He could bat left-handed, and then you got him and Kiz working. Oh, the pitchers really like Kiz. He's such a fine boy. And it's just like he's such a nice guy.
We need somebody who can go out there.
The media really likes him. But he hit 200. He's such a fine young man. And the pitchers like him, even though he's one of the worst pitch framers in baseball. Hey, well, let's go. Yeah, and then we'll go get that left. If we just go get a left-handed swinging catcher, and then, I know he gets injuries, but our trainers and doctors, they say they can work with him. That'll make me sick if that stuff happens.
Yeah, that'll be a bad thing.
Because like I've said this week, they haven't had a chance to go on a true shopping expedition or trade expedition to land a big-time catcher since the early aughts.
Yeah.
What an opportunity this is. Do not take the minor league half measure. Well, we're not going to go all in. Let me take a little step here. Yeah, there's our platoon catcher. Let me take a little step over here. Yeah, I'll just kind of slowly we don't need to do that go in big stuff. Hey, we make the playoffs every year. Yeah, but you don't score runs or enough of them. Well, let me go over here. Let me tiptoe over here. There's a left-handed catcher. Oh, let me sign him. He only $2 million. All right, I'm being way too obnoxious now. But you all listening should be grateful that I still, I have so much energy late in the show. Because I go nuts for 3 hours. You'd think I'd be running out of gas. No, not me. Now, if you asked me to go in front of my house and walk up the block or walk around a block, yeah, I'd run out of gas. But sitting here hollering, no, never.
It's all good.